There's something very special about 6 o'clock. I get excited every time because I'm waking up with you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a terrific Tuesday morning. It is the 11th of February, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. So good to see you. So good to have you company indeed. Whether you are in Barbados or somewhere else across the world, good morning to you. Remember to continue interacting with us on our social media, and thank you for watching there as well on Facebook and on YouTube. Also, you can watch us on our website, cbc.bb. Continue to interact with us. We do appreciate your interaction. Also, if you have an idea, if you know of someone who is very interesting, who you think we need to share with the rest of the world, drop us an email. The email address is simple, morninbarbados@cbc.bb. We will be happy to meet with them and engage with them as well. Glenda Yard already off the ball. She said terrific Tuesday morning to you. Thank you so much, Slender. Have yourself a great today as well. Thank you as always, all of you, interacting with us on our Facebook page. It is Tuesday and it is early in the morning, and you know how I do this. I get your brains cracking. I hope you find this interesting as well. My question of today is, what would you do if you woke up and found a centipede asleep on your chest? Serious as a judge. What would you do? Call me now. Call me right now. Call me right now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do if you opened your two eyes and lo and behold, sleeping on your chest is a centipede? And we know how we Bajans feel about those creatures, right? So tell me, what would you do at that point? 228-5562 or 228-5563. You can also put your comment on our Facebook page as well. So 228-5562 or 63. Call me and let me know in your real Bajan way how you would react. What would you do if you woke up and you found lying on your chest fast asleep a centipede? I know you say all the time, don't call the word, Pearson, don't call the word, because then you see them. I call the word centipede. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me and let me know. Good morning. Hello.
Peace be unto you and
You
yours.
too. Thank you, Gail.
Welcome back, my dear.
Thank you so much. So, Gail, what would you do if you woke up and found sleeping on your chest a centipede?
Well, I will rip off everything. Like, rip off my hand, too.
The hand had to go.
Yes.
If the hand has to go, the hand has to go because that centipede has to go.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Balling for murder now.
Would you go in hunt and search of that centipede, or would you leave the room?
The whole day.
The whole day?
Yeah.
In other words, you are not going back in there till you find it.
True.
Here's your brother. Here's your brother, Gail. Thank you. Here?
You too.
All right, my girl. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do? And I know I've heard a story of one who, as a child, a toddler, woke up and found one wrapped around her wrist. Joanna, you know, wrapped around her wrist. She still to this day feels what it felt like then. So what would you do if you woke up and you found sleeping on your chest a centipede? What would you do? Gail said she would rip everything off. If it's her arm that has to go, she's not going back into that room until she finds it, because two big Harvard people can't work in there. Glenda says what? Well, lost, Pearson. I would holler for murder and run with speed. I think a lot of Bajans probably would, because we have this fear of that creature. And maybe it's real or imagined. Good morning to you. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, don't listen to your TV, okay? Just listen to me on the phone. How are you?
Good.
And what is your name?
Ajari Pollard.
Say the first name again.
Ajari.
Ajari. How old are you, Ajari?
11 going 12 this year.
You can't wait to hit 12, right?
Yes, please.
I tell you, but didn't you become a big man? So,
Yes.
Ajari, what school are you with?
St. Griffith Secondary School.
And you're up early?
Yes, please.
Do you always wake up this early?
Yes, please.
Why?
I have to catch the bus out of the school.
What bus would you catch?
St. Patrick.
So you live in that area. I know. I then have a rough idea as to where you live. So, Ajari, if you woke up, right? Is that your little baby brother or sister?
Brother.
How old is he?
How old?
How old?
Getting a year in April.
Oh, he's going to be a year in April. Oh, boy. And you love your baby brother, don't you?
Yes, please.
What is your baby brother's name?
Neil.
Neil?
Yes, please.
So they call you Ajari and call him Neil?
Pardon me?
So they made up a name for you, Ajari, and they call your brother Neil. Very simple. All right. So, Jerry, if you woke up and you found on your chest sleeping a centipede, what would you do?
I would jump up and yarn, spray, and I would holler and then tell my mother to come and help me get rid of it.
And then you're not going back in that room, right?
No.
You're a big frightened man, Jerry. But thank you so much. I wish you a good day today at school, all right?
Yes, please.
Thank you for calling. All right, Ajari, 11 years old, going on 12. That means he's going on 50. So Ajari is one who too would jump up, brush it off, run to his mummy, 11 years old, and says, come deal with this. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do if you woke up and found on your chest, fast asleep, a centipede? What would you do? Now, coming up today, we'll have our conversations on CARICOM, and we want to look at the upcoming activities of the organs of CARICOM because it's happening in Barbados next week. And so Ambassador David Commichon is with us, and he'll be talking to us in just a little while about what is on the agenda as we take a peek behind the curtain of the planning for this upcoming event. This evening in St. Peter, as part of the regathering activities, they're having their standpipe stories. Those standpipe stories will be told by you. And there's some people from the university who will also be here to talk to us a little bit about what they're going to do when they hear those stories as well. So we can't wait to hear from them. But look out for that opportunity a little later on this evening at the Speightstown Methodist Church. We'll give you more details this morning. The Princess Margaret Secondary School is marking its 70th anniversary, and we want to hear about the progress of the school. We want to hear the plans to celebrate that milestone, and so we'll be connecting with them as well. The Caribbean Institute for Social and Emotional Learning will join us today as they're prepared to launch an initiative called Raising a More Emotionally Intelligent Generation. Is that possible? And if so, how do we do so? The man behind that initiative will join us to talk a little bit more about that. And today we'll continue sharing with you all of the activities for Family Fest 2025. But the question, don't forget, is what would you do if you woke up and found a centipede sleeping on your chest? So get cracking on that. Also to remind you of our vacation competition, which closes on the 15th of the month. All of your entries need to be in by the 15th of this month. That's a few days away. And all you need to do is to capture a video of 30 to 90 seconds. 30 to 90 seconds, you and your bae. Tell us why you deserve this staycation, of course, and why this bae is your bae. So talk to us in your loving terms and send those videos in to us by WhatsApp to 467-5465, or you may send them by email to marketing@cbc.bb. Get it old and forgetful at cbc.bb. So there you go. Yeah, they tell me it's a senior moment. Yeah, I'm a senior, so yes, I have those moments as well. So don't forget, marketing@cbc.bb or by WhatsApp to 467-5465. You have until the 15th. You have until the 15th. You don't have a lot of time left, and there's some wonderful staycations. So good luck to all of you, and all the best indeed. Let the best man win, or woman. All right, let's get started talking today about in our conversations on CARICOM about what's coming up next week. We're joined by Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commichon. Ambassador, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, next week, today's the 11th. We're just over 8 days away from the start of the meeting of the heads of government in Barbados. What can we expect, do you think?
Well, it's going to be a week of intense CARICOM activity. Because in addition to the meeting of the 48th regular meeting of the CARICOM heads of government that will be taking place right here in Barbados next week, we will also have a meeting of the Council for Foreign and Community Relations. That's where our foreign ministers come together. So Barbadians, the eyes of the whole region, and to some extent the eyes of the world, will be on Barbados from next week, Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday, the 19th, is when in the morning we will have that meeting of our foreign ministers. And then later in that day, the evening, we will have the opening ceremony of the CARICOM Heads of Government Conference. That opening ceremony will take place at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. And then the next day, the Thursday and the Friday, we shift to the Wyndham Grand Sam Loss Castle Hotel, where we will, the heads of government will have that 2-day meeting. So I want Barbadians to get ready to welcome all of our visiting prime ministers and presidents and ministers of foreign affairs and all the delegations that will be coming with them. And also, we're going to have 7 specially invited guests from representing different regions of the world who will be here, who will have an engagement with our heads of government, and that engagement is going to be open to the media. So I trust that the Barbadian media will share that with our people.
How significant is that to have these specially invited guests, though, share with all leaders of CARICOM?
Well, I think it's very, very striking. We live at a moment where there's so much uncertainty in the world. It's a unique geopolitical moment, and CARICOM has to negotiate, the difficulties of that moment. And of course, not just recent happenings, but CARICOM has been on a mission really to diversify, to develop relations with different parts of the world, Africa, the Middle East, Latin America. And if you look at the guests who are coming, you will see that this is a continuation of that thrust, from the General Secretary of the United Nations to persons who represent Africa, the Middle East, Qatar, Latin America. And so yes, it is all evidence of a maturing CARICOM and a region intent on finding its place in the world.
But obviously significant to all of this is how then do we not just manage our relations one with the other, but how do we position ourselves globally? And I'm trying to imagine then coming out of it, because I know the Right Honourable Dame Patricia Scotland will be a part of it, General Secretary of the Commonwealth. Yes. And as Barbados is still a member of the Commonwealth, I believe, yes. And how do we now begin to get our message into that wider world through this partnership?
Well, I think that the moment we are in now requires of us a diplomacy of solidarity. I think we now have to embrace, we have already been doing it, but I think we now have to double down and redouble our efforts to build solidarity with other countries, with other regions of the world. And so we have to make full use of all of these multilateral organizations that we're in. So the Commonwealth gives us an opportunity to rub shoulders and to come together with all of the former British colonies. And I think we have to prize these opportunities even more now. In fact, I am urging that all of the multilateral organizations that we are in, some of them we have not paid an awful lot of attention to. We might be just a kind of token member, but I think we have to go beyond that now. We have to see that the moment that we are in demands of us to develop new relations, to bring other nations closer to us, to work with developing our self-reliance, our economic independence, so that we are not so vulnerable to any particular nation in the world. If we have multifaceted developmental and economic relationships. So in our hemisphere, from the Association of Caribbean States, to the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, to the OAS, we have to make full use of those opportunities to develop solidarity in our region. But then, multilateralism, there's a sense that multilateralism is under threat. This idea that we live in a global rules-based order, that we will all adhere to the rules, that it will not be a situation of might makes right and big power rule. That is multilateralism. And CARICOM has a fundamental commitment to multilateralism because we are all relatively powerless, small states. We need a world order that is rules-based and is predictable and respects the rights of small states. So I think so for example, you know, we really welcome the presence of the Secretary General of the UN, because we of all people, we have to stand with him in insisting that yes, international law, multilateralism, the UN is of critical importance, must be respected, must be supported. So Pearson, the stakes are really high because, you know, as I said, this is a very difficult time that we are living in, and we have to be very clear in our thinking, who we are, what our principles are, where our interests lie, and we now need to pursue that agenda as, you know, serious, mature countries and a serious, mature Caribbean community.
Indeed, I know over the time we've seen our relationship with Africa blossom with the Africa Import Bank being hosted in Barbados and for the region. But I see here one of those specially invited people will be the CEO of Qatar Development Fund.
Yes.
Now that's for us a new arrangement.
Well, just let me give the Barbadians a full outline of the 7 guests. So we Barbadians, we will be engaging with, from His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the UN, Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, that's the European Union executive body. You have already mentioned the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Dame Patricia Scotland. And yes, in addition to a person that we know well, Professor Benedict Orama, President of the African Export-Import Bank, we will also be engaging with the Chief Executive Officer of the Qatar Development Fund. And just to round off the list, we will also be engaging with the Executive President of the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean. And finally, a Bajan, Mr. Daniel Bess, the new President of the Caribbean Development Bank. And that will be exciting to hear from Daniel in that capacity for the very first time, to have him engage with the heads. And of course, he is the 7th President of the Caribbean Development Bank. He follows in the footsteps of such illustrious presidents as Sir Arthur Lewis, of course, our own Neville Nichols, and yes. But yes, Qatar, the fact that we have with us the Executive Officer of the Qatar Development Bank, very, 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 very interesting. That we, you know, Barbados, we set up a new embassy in the United Arab Emirates. So we recognized pretty early on that that's the direction that we need to go in. And, you know, Prime Minister Motley is the chair of CARICOM. So as chair, one of your privileges as chair is to identify who are the specially invited guests you would wish to have. So it's not surprising that we do have the Chief Executive Officer of the Qatar Development Fund. So Qatar, Latin America, the Caribbean, European Union, Africa,
Commonwealth, everyone at the
topping
table.
it all off, the big multilateral entity, the United Nations.
And so on the day before the opening is when the Ministers of Foreign Affairs will meet. Talk to me a little bit about what we can expect from that particular meeting.
Well, they have a very simple agenda. They're going to be examining the current geopolitical situation and all of its implications for CARICOM. They're going to be looking, of course, at the new United States administration. They will also be looking at the upcoming election for a new Secretary General of the Organization of American States. And this is very critical because we have a candidate in the race. The current Foreign Minister of Suriname, Honorable Albert Ramdien, he's coming up against a candidate from, I think it's from Paraguay. So we need to rally around Mr. Ramdien. We need to do all that we can to make sure he lands that position. Because the OAS is a very important organization, but without the right leadership, sometimes it can lose its way. So in recent years, we have seen the OAS, rather than really focusing on the development of our region, economic development, trade and so forth, it had a big focus on attacking Venezuela. Everything was about attack. It was pursuing a geopolitical agenda that really did not cohere with the agenda of our nations. So we want to avoid that in the future. We want, if we are going to be members of the OAS, we want it to serve our developmental needs rather than pursuing some very kind of partisan political agenda. So it would be great. We have never had a Secretary General of the OAS from the CARICOM region. So it is really long overdue that we are 14 members. We are the biggest single bloc within the OAS, and it's really long overdue that we should lead it.
Are there any? I know often we have not just specially invited guests, but special members. Are there any special members who will be allowed into the meeting for next week?
Well, you do have, typically at a CARICOM Heads of Government conference, you do have ambassadors and representatives of various countries that do come to the meeting, try to sit in on those sections of the meeting that may be open to them, and try to just use the meeting as an opportunity for canvassing people, pushing their own agenda. But a lot of the meeting, typically at a CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, a lot of the meeting is very private. The most sensitive items are dealt with in caucus. That's where it's just the prime ministers, and maybe they will have with them the Attorney General or their Minister of Foreign Affairs. So very sensitive issues, like, for example, they're going to be dealing with the issue of crime. They're going to be dealing with the issue of Haiti. So very sensitive issues are dealt with. They're going to be dealing with the issue of our budget. We have every 3 years we work out, refine the formula for paying the CARICOM budget and what the contribution of each member state must be, etc., etc. And we haven't been able to resolve that for the current budget. So there's going to be some sensitive discussions among the heads. Freedom of movement, we have agreed we're going to have the freedom of movement regime, but there are a couple of sticking points. So sensitive items the heads typically deal with in caucus. Then you have the plenaries, and some plenaries are only open to CARICOM member states and their delegations. But then you may have a plenary that is actually open to the wider public. And actually, the plenary that will engage with the 7 guests will be open to the wider public. So yes, that's typically what a CARICOM Heads of Government conference looks like, and they're going to be, and in those 2 days, 3 days, they're going to be covering a very extensive 28-point agenda. From climate change, you name it, Pearson. The ferry system, our 25 by 25 agriculture production system, food security system, CARIFESTA. They're going to be looking at CARIFESTA, even the perennial problem of our West Indies cricket. Almost everything that is of real relevance and significance to us is going to be on that agenda.
Sounds quite full, sounds quite fruitful too, the outcome. Thank you, Ambassador. We have to leave it right there. Ambassador David Commichon, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, looking ahead at the upcoming meeting of the CARICOM heads of government. And remember, the opening ceremony is on the 19th. But just prior to that, we'll have the meeting of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the region as well. So it's going to be quite interesting. Stay tuned to CBC TV8, of course, and CBC News. We will fill you in on the goings-on coming out of that meeting. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Pearson.
Morning Barbados continues in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with Domino's.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
28 minutes now after 6 o'clock. Let's turn our attention now to the standpipe stories. I'm telling you, St. Peter really has a whole bunch of activities that are so fascinating, and they've really done well. So congratulations to all of you on the St. Peter Organizing Committee. You've done well so far. Thumbs up. But this evening at the Speightstown Methodist Church would be standpipe stories. Just with the sound of it, you know right away, people are just going to be sharing. Literally sharing, as it used to happen in the old days, where you know who, there were fights and stories told about all sorts of things. And so two gentlemen are joining us. They're going to be leading that discussion with you when you visit with them this evening at the Speightstown Methodist Church. We have Dr. Cleve Scott, who's all the way over there. You know Cleve from us here at CBC TV and Crop Over. Cleve, good morning.
Good morning, Pearson. Yes, I'm part
brother.
of the CBC family.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Dr. Henderson Carter, too, even though he's, anyway, I wouldn't say any more than that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good to see you, my friends.
Good morning.
Yeah.
All right, standpipe stories. I just love the whole concept of it, that you're sitting around and you're just talking and sharing. Is that ideally what it is?
Yes, essentially. The standpipe is an institution
Yeah.
in Barbados. It's a social and a cultural institution. People gathered there in the 1950s, in the 1960s, not only to get water, but to share stories. Some people to gossip as well. At some standpipes, there were fights. Mm-hmm. But the key here is the story. And Barbados has many stories.
Yes.
Every parish has a story. As a matter of fact, we're taking this lecture series to every single parish. There are wonderful stories being told by people and retold. Mm-hmm. And of course, what we have done in the university, we've researched a lot of those stories. And each parish has exciting stories. For example, in my parish, the parish of St. George, mm-hmm. there's a story of a man who died twice.
Really?
During the cholera epidemic, this man was buried.
Mm-hmm.
And around 12 o'clock in the night, he woke up, got up out of his grave, and went back home to his common law wife in Thorpe's cottage.
Oh my word.
And said, look my head.
Whoa.
Now,
I would have loved to see that reaction.
This is during the cholera epidemic.
Yeah.
Now, around 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, he took sick again and died in the morning. They took him back down to St. George Parish Church and buried him, this time in about 6 feet of mold. in the first instance, he was only buried about 2 feet of mold.
Yes.
So he pushed his way out
Wow.
and he came back. It's all these stories that we have and we need to tell to excite people and to give people their history.
I mean, a lot of these stories might sound like fiction, but some of them are quite true.
Yeah.
Quite true.
Look, we have a story of a man, a soldier at the garrison who deserted the army. This 1830. This man deserted the army. They found him. And of course, desertion, the punishment was execution.
Yes.
So they're ready to execute this man. The priest gives him his last rites. They put a cloth over his face. They did some music as well. And the musketeers are ready to fire off. And a man comes running across the garrison with a message from the governor to halt his execution. The report says the man just slumped down, and he had to be lifted up. Now, these are stories that we need to tell.
And we need to capture as well.
And capture.
Yeah.
And I mean, as you know, we've captured this in our book, Today Bajan History. And but there are others that we have not captured, that we will tell along the way this year. So patrons who come, they're in for an exciting time. And they too can tell their stories.
Indeed. So Cleve, are you looking forward to this as well this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing the, let's call it the motivational talk. And I'll be looking at the history of Barbados through the eyes of people in the St. Peter Parish. There are so many communities in St. Peter, and all of them would have their history through their own eyes. Viewers probably might want to know why I chose to do St. Peter, and that's because I have very good familiar connections in St. Peter. All the families in St. Peter practically related from Boscobel, Mile and a Quarter, all over. Also, we know that Barbados' history is connected with sugar and slavery, and there's so many plantations or estates in St. Peter, so many famous sites that are connected to all of these communities and these histories. Spice Song, for example, has its own long tradition. The schools in St. Peter. So what we're going to do tonight is I will draw this framework, and as Dr. Carter indicated, at the end we will hear from the residents and persons who are connected with St. Peter as to their own interpretations and their own explanations and stories of the history.
And I'm glad you said all of this, because it's from somewhere that these stories are going to be told, whether it's from experience, memory, or triggered by something you would have said. And we find ourselves through these stories, I suppose, Henderson. You know, because I'm going to hear the story of a plantation. I might hear the name Bowen dropped. And I'm thinking, well, hold on, well, I'm a Bowen. So therefore, if that is that Bowen, then this person must be related to me.
Yes.
And I recall blah, 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 and the conversation goes from there. Is that the kind of activity you want to see happen this evening?
Yes, essentially. We want to hear people who have their personal stories and who want to talk about people as well. People who, were integral in the development of St. Peter. You want to talk about events. For example, I believe Cleve will talk about the disappearance of Boscobel in 1901.
Disappearance?
Boscobel disappeared off the map in 1901. So the Boscobel that you know is a new Boscobel. And that was the flood of 1901, when the rain fell for about 6 days consecutively. And then not only did Boscobel disappear, but a sugar mill at Breedy's, not far from Boscobel, also disappeared. So this large sugar mill, probably 40 feet high, just disappeared. And Pearson reappeared in 1938.
When you said disappear, what do you mean?
Well,
What do you mean
the
that
mole
for some
came
reason the
down
name
and
was
covered
changed?
it. No, the mole came down and covered it.
That kind of disappearance?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
word.
reappeared again in 1938 during floods again, and then disappeared again. So
Whoa.
we're still looking for it.
This is so interesting. And you walk these roads, you drive these roads, you play in the area, and you did not even know that all of this is part of your history. And so the standpipe stories will unearth
Yes.
a lot of that, figure, pun intended.
And when people give their stories, we're hoping to capture these stories and publish them. Because this is not just a talk. At the end of this series, we'll produce a book with all these parish stories,
Right.
including the people's stories. Not only Dr. Scott's stories, but the people's stories as well. Because I'm sure that there are some things that people know that they had not said. I mean, we did St. Lucie last month, and we told the story of the Heartman and St. Lucie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew a few of them too.
Oh my goodness.
I tell you. I mean, even as a boy, we were scared of them, but we knew them. But I'm glad that, Cleve, you spoke about the schools, the stories of the schools. I'm glad because you're quite right. So we're talking about people, institutions, places, shopkeepers, funeral directors, and a whole host of those kinds of things. The life of the community, the life of the village. And while we think of St. Peter as a large parish, we want to hear the village story. I suppose that's what you're also seeking to do, right?
Yeah, there's so many villages. And I always say to people, when we think about the Caribbean and Barbados in particular, we talk about zip codes.
Yeah.
But there really is no need for zip code. Because if you take mile and a quarter, Brevitoire, Indian Grung, and so on, all of these are specific areas with their distinct boundaries. And all of them have their family connections, the institutions, the shop, the schools, and so on. And even traditionally, the bus drivers.
Yes.
Of course, now we have ZRs and all that, but
even there's a story there. There's even a story there.
Yeah, but 40, 50 years ago, the bus would leave you at a particular stop, and you have to be able to leave where you live to get to that stop to catch a bus.
You see, and if I were to say to St. Lucie, for instance, Miss Marshall's shop, people will know exactly where I mean. And that's the kind of story we're talking about. And then you wonder, who's Miss Marshall? And then you trace and you trace and you trace and so forth. And so the stories will unfold. And children need to know this. I think there's a generation that does not know this. And so they need to know. And that's why the standpipe story is so critical.
Because if you take St. Peter again, St. Joseph Hospital is a long, there's a long history there that's captured by the mighty Gabby in his cadavers.
That's true. That is quite true. That is quite true. And I mean, while it is not as open as it used to be, St. Joseph Hospital still has the Roman Catholic chapel there, but that hospital is no longer in operation. But it's a site that a lot of people drive by, and I have never myself been in there. That's the truth. And I went to school just a stone's throw away from there.
You're afraid to go there?
Not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because of Gabby's song. I just haven't had the interest yet to go into there. But to be able to explore the spaces and the places and the people, and that's what the standpipe stories would allow us to do. Now, it's this evening at what time?
7 p.m.
7 o'clock.
Spicetown Methodist Church.
And I want you to give the direction so that people don't get confused. I know how to give it, so I want to hear yours.
I mean, I'll let Cleve say Peter Man. I'll just say George Man.
Tell us how to find Spicetown Methodist
Now,
Church.
remember the traffic has changed in St. Peter. So the easiest way to do is go to the intersection just before the lights, if you're going to St. Lucie, and you make the left turn down, what do you call it, Edwards?
Yeah.
Edwards.
But also you have to come around.
No, as you come...
Okay, as I'm coming off the highway 1,
yes,
the lower road, as we tend to say,
yeah.
You made that left turn before you get to Chefette. I'll call names.
Yeah.
So before you get to
where there's a
turn,
new KFC, as you mentioned, Sheffield.
There you go. There you go. So there you go. So you made that left turn and you're driving towards the church. You see it right there.
It's right there. It's right there.
I know.
Yeah.
That one North Point.
Near to the old Kentucky.
And
the courts
correct.
building.
Behind Kentucky, near to the courts location, near to Republic Bank.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right there. And near to the Spikestone Boys School as well. Now that should be a story to tell as well. The defunct Spikestone Boys School. So I'm looking forward to this. It begins at 7 this evening, everybody. You've got to be there. And this, I don't think, should be a story alone. And Roosevelt Bacco Corbin, who is in the United States, I love the standpipe stories, man. This thing taking me way back. He's having a good time. But you're overseas, Roosevelt. Can people overseas also be a part of this over time? You think?
it's not streamed. But if people want to call in and give their stories, they can. And they can write us or email us at the university, the Department of History, and then we can incorporate those stories.
The Department of History at the University of the West Indies send your stories there.
Yes,
They will incorporate those stories as well. This evening is going to be so good. For real, honestly, serious as a judge. I'm just saying that, but not just saying that. I really mean for you to come. You can discover the rich history, heritage, and a whole lot more of St. Peter and a whole lot more. You can listen to authentic stories shared by the heart and soul of St. Peter, the parishioners. You can see the amazing talent in the parish as well. Preserve those moments in an inspiring publication for generations to come and build connections with parish ambassadors and strengthen community ties. That's the objective. Now you have to be there. It begins at 7 this evening. These two gentlemen will lead you through.
And before you go,
sure.
I need to give you a gift.
You do?
This is your book. In that book, you have 365 stories.
One per day.
One per day.
This book, Today in Bajan History.
Today in Bajan History.
I like this.
Yeah.
I like this. I know the audio version.
Yes.
We leave it right there.
Yes.
But this is such a fascinating collection.
A story
honestly.
for every single day.
Yeah.
And we're not finished yet.
And it's not yet finished because we're still gathering your stories today in St. Peter. So, just out of curiosity, where can we get copies of this book?
Well, University of West Indies Capefield campus, bookshop, and all bookshops across the island. $85, that's the price.
That's less than $100 and you get all of this?
Yeah.
This is fascinating.
And wonderful photographs.
Yes, I'm just noticing as well.
Wonderful photographs. I mean, you must buy it if you see it.
I just saw this burial of Christopher Chrissy Brathwaite. I remember that name.
Yeah.
In 1952.
From Empire Club. He was one of the founders of Empire Club.
My word. And all I did was skim
and a politician.
Through. And correct, Chrissy Brathwaite. I remember the name quite well. So, it's a good book. It's a good reason for you to come to the Standpipe Stories and share your story. Your stories will be captured as well in a book similar and in other forms as well. So we do encourage you to come on down to Speightstown Methodist Church. This evening, 7 o'clock, it starts. Prepare to spend some time. Prepare to share your story. Prepare to hear other people's stories and engage. Gentlemen, thank you so very much.
You are welcome.
Thank
you too.
You're welcome. Oh, if you woke up and you found the centipede sleeping in your chest, what would you do?
I would fling off everything I got. Shirt, probably pants as well.
Yes.
That would have gone.
God, get off me. In other words, Cleve, what about you?
I'll flip it off of my hands.
Easily like that, Cleve?
Yeah.
You're not scared of them?
No, and if you're a neighbor, I will tell you to catch it.
Dr. Cleve Scott, Dr. Henderson Carter, indeed. Thank you so much, gentlemen. All the best. Standpipe Stories this evening in St. Peter at Speightstown Methodist Church beginning at 7 p.m. We're coming back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, Tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
What would you do if you woke up and found a centipede sleeping on your chest? What would you do? Really want to hear from you, so continue gathering your thoughts, think about it, and when I say call, and let me know. But as I told you at the beginning of the show, this Princess Margaret Secondary School is marking its 70th anniversary. Now that's a significant milestone, and so they're having a series of activities to mark that particular milestone. Joining me now this morning is retired nutrition and director, and she's also a member of the alumni class of 73. Her name is Margarita Walcott. Margarita, good morning to you.
Good morning to you too, Pearson.
Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the attainment of 70 years of your school.
Thank you so much.
What does that mean to you to know that your school that you sat at, that you were a little girl playing games at, and that you studied at is celebrating 70 years?
I couldn't be more proud of the Princess Margaret School for all that they have achieved over the 70 years. I might not be there for 70 years because I'm class of 73, but they made a significant contribution to the community in the St. Philip Six Rose area.
Let's talk about that contribution from your memory. What do you see that contribution to have been, and in what ways?
The contribution where we produce lawyers, doctors, nurses, a whole set of, and more importantly, I remember the days with the sports when we had Telston Payne for cricket, Wayne Daniel for cricket, Marcia Trotman going to the Munich Olympics, and Heather Goodin. So those are some of my really fond memories of the Princess Margaret School.
Well, that's fantastic. And so those are things that we're celebrating in the 70th anniversary, those kinds of achievements by those outstanding people. But the history of the Princess Margaret School takes us all the way back to when Princess Margaret would have come to Barbados in 1955, February the 9th, when she opened the school that was named in her honor. And they planted for her a tree to the southwest wall of the school. Do you know any of that history at all?
Yes, I remember the first headmaster was Spencer was the name. And then we had Reginald Lewis. He was the headmaster while I was present there. And some of the teachers that are still alive, like our Spanish teacher, Stafford Allen, Mr. Daniel. There were so many people that are still in the area and that are still there and part of the school that makes this 70th anniversary absolutely special. But more so, the alumni came from all areas. They weren't just from the Six Rose or St. Philip area. We had alumni that came from Christchurch, from other areas like St. George. So the school itself has so many memories for so many people, and it's so important to so many people.
Indeed. And so how are you now, as a team of people, coming together to mark this significant milestone? What are the plans on the table?
The plans on the table is for the alumni to partner with the school in various projects, mentoring our students. And we did, and the alumni a couple years ago, they actually was back there helping them with supplies, encouraging the graduating seniors to go into the world and make a difference, go into their community and give back some of what they have taken and learned in the school. And I think that the mentoring part, especially, is more even important in this day and age where our young people need guidance in areas of finance, in areas of interviewing when they go for a job. There's certain skills that you don't get every day and that the parents cannot give to these students. But if we as alumni and we as a community can take these kids and shower them with love and teach them some of the skills that they need and when they go into the workplace, I think that would be of a great assistance to these students and to our country as a whole.
I so admire that you have this passion for your school still, even after all these years, after leaving school in 73.
It is a passion that was instilled in me by some of my teachers. I had teachers like Carolyn Sinkler, Bosky Griffith. If it wasn't for Bosky Griffith, I would not know what leadership was about. Yes, we read things in books, but when somebody takes you under your wings and they show you the way. I mean, because of him, I am in the USA today from a trip that I won representing the Princess Margaret School and the Tic Tac Show years back, 1973. So if we can impart that back and give our young people some opportunities, whether it's financial, whether it's just a lunch meal sometimes that they need, and a hug, we would have done our part in giving back.
Indeed, and well done to all of you who've continued to give back. I know you would have had a church service already, and that was yesterday, Monday. And now today, Tuesday, there's going to be an inter-house quiz competition. Talk to me a little bit about that.
That quiz, I was told because I was supposed to be in Barbados, but I was there 2 weeks ago for a funeral, so I'm back in New York. But that quiz is on the history of the school. So it will be interesting today when I get the final report on how the students do. And I think it's great competition for the students still. There will be some prizes for the students, but most important, they get to talk about the history of the school.
That's brilliant. And then tomorrow, you're having your parade and march.
Oh, that's a new thing for me.
Look at how your face lit up.
That's a new thing for me because for us, it was sports day and speech day. But for them to have a march going through different areas of St. Philip is absolutely sensational. I cannot wait. I guess I will be seeing some of it live or hear from my colleague as to this march that's touching so many different areas.
So there's going to be a parade on the school's grounds, and then you're going to be marching through the surrounding districts.
Yes.
This all happens at 9:30. So to all of you in 6 Roads and the wider St. Philip Parish as well, look out and welcome the students. Patricia Ben online is saying, I remember well when Princess Margaret came to Barbados to dedicate the school. They stood on the road in the hot sun. So she too remembers that time when the school was dedicated in 1955. So tomorrow, Wednesday, the parade and march will go from the school into the surrounding areas as well. And then coming up on Thursday, there's a relay run. Now, Princess Margaret is known for its prowess at sports, particularly at athletics. So let's talk a little bit about what you think we can expect from that.
I'm sure there will be stiff competition in the relays. I can see the students now, they have been preparing for this for weeks, and their teachers also have been working really well with them. But this is also for the community. Their other parents are going to be there, alumni will be there, and all scholars will be there. And of course, the teachers and the principal will be supporting these students as they do this relay.
I think this is fantastic. And you end the week on Friday with a health fair for the students in the Reginald Lewis Auditorium at 9:30, and then an outreach at Emerald City, which is just next door to the school. This is a fantastic week of activities to mark this 70th anniversary. Is there any other significant event that we didn't mention from the slate of events?
Well, in July, because we are gathering, the Prime Minister will have all the parishes gathering every month, and I think St. Philip will be in July. The school and the alumni are looking forward to gathering to do something really special for us, especially for July and for St. Philip. So I can see I will be there if possible, and with God's help, to ensure that we really, really have a wonderful time in gathering all our scholars, our students, and mobilizing our country again to do some of the good work that we know that our students can do.
Right. This is really good. Margarita Walcott, I wish you and your team very well with all of this. Something feels as if it's going to be hugely successful. Congratulations on 70 years of service to our community of the Princess Margaret Secondary School in 6 Road, St. Philip. You carry the pride of your school very well. I love the fact that you're able to speak so glowingly of your memories of the school and the people who would have impacted positively on your development. And for those who are students and workers still at the school, well done. Congratulations on your anniversary. All the best.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to fundraising for the school because we have a Hugo Thompson scholarship, and we would like to give the students, 1 or 2 of the students when they graduate, some form of a scholarship so they can continue their studies in advance.
Well done. Thank you so much, Margarita Walcott, for joining us online. Margarita Walcott, she is a retired nutrition director, but she's also a part of the alumni of class 1973 with the Princess Margaret School marking its 70th anniversary. Now, I have a question for all of you folks. Serious. What would you do if you woke up and found a centipede asleep on your chest? For real, what would you do? Margarita, I'm asking you that question as well. What would you do?
I think I'll just jump out of my skin because I'm scared of a millipede, furthermore a centipede. I'll be screaming to the top of my voice for someone to help me.
Even the millipede scares her. Oh, you're scaredy cat. Thank you so much, Margarita, indeed. But what about you folks at home? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Tell me what you would. I will tell you what I'll do before the end of the show. Trust me, I will. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do if you woke up and found a centipede lying, sleeping on your chest? What would you do? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me NOW. Call me right now. And I know a number of you are also online posting. Post. Good morning. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Pearson.
Sir, how are you doing?
Barbados. I am fine, thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. What's your first name?
Derek.
Derek from?
St. George.
St. George. All right, Derek from St. George. What would you do?
Pearson, I think I would just go right back to sleep, and when I get up, it would have been a dream.
You hope it would be a dream. You hope it would be a dream. And you would look and see a sleeping centipede on your chest and go back to sleep?
Yes, Pearson, I hate those things. I hate those things with a passion, Pearson. I just do not know what I would do. I think I would freeze.
You would freeze and hope that it climbs away.
Yes, please.
But because of your hatred for them with a passion, as you said it, are you just going to let it climb off you and move on? Or are you going to do something about that?
Not at all. I would make it as fine as possible.
Make it as fine as possible? Listen, there's a story told of a man who wanted to make it as fine as possible by crushing it with his foot. And when he realized by the sting, he had a hole in the bottom of his shoe. So be very careful. Be very careful. Thank you, Derek. Have a good day. You're very welcome. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Like all of you, I think I'll freak out too. I don't like them either. But fortunately for me, I tend to see them before they see me. And I'm hoping to God I continue to have that other sense to be able to identify them before they identify me, because I don't know what I'll do. But I cannot sleep in a bed knowing there's a centipede in the room. That can't work. Neither of us has the right to be in that room at the same time. One of us has to go. That's my position. We'll take a break. We're coming back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's now 1 minute after 7 o'clock. Let's update you on the news. A replacement for ultra-high temperature milk appears to be on the cards. That revelation came from Executive Director of the Bico Limited, Edwin Thurwell, as he responded to the presence of Bico milk on our shelves. The company official told CBC News that Bico's milk presence is a result of a breach in the production of the commodity in Barbados. Trevor Thorpe reports.
Bico says the decision to get involved in milk business is a response to the shortage of the commodity in the industry. Executive Chairman Edwin Thurwell says the market is calling for a change in the milk production process.
Future looks like there could well be a permanent requirement for an alternative to UHT milk, which we're in a position to fill. People are already saying that, well, that's the old milk we remember, it's proper milk. It's not UHT, and just the same as the breweries are having a backlash.
Mr. Thurwell says the company is in for the long haul and additional staff has been hired.
It would have been a short-term measure, but in actual fact, because Pine Hill Dairy seem to be in the position where they either now don't want to or haven't got the equipment to make reconstituted milk, which is where they started. They started with the ability to do it, but they seem as if they've gone into without a plan B. In other words, they are now committed to UHT milk, which wasn't always popular, but it's the only thing available. But at the moment, they've no plan B to go back and make reconstituted milk.
Mr. Thurwell says the milk industry is a competitive one.
We think there is an opportunity. It's because, don't forget, we live in a very competitive environment. We've got two new competitors in the marketplace. So we don't complain about it, we just buckle down and compete. So what's the difference with the dairy having to buckle down and compete then? That's the same thing, isn't it?
The executive chairman says supply chain issues, however, remain major challenges to the local milk industry. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
The National Housing Corporation is in the process of revamping its operations and is set to establish a department that will be responsible for all government's planning and design going forward. That's according to General Manager Ian Gill, who says it will not be restricted to the NHC alone. He was commenting following a number of vacancies for building and civil engineer, land surveyor, technical officer planning and design, and a draftsman technical assistant.
So we need the additional staff to make it right. The National Housing is heading towards a focus of being a planning and design and asset management institution. While we will be responsible for allocations and so on, we will no longer be responsible for construction of houses and so on. We are the conduit now to owning a home.
And Mr. Gill says the NHC is organizing itself to be fit for the evolving world trends of modern day society.
So I would say that our main thrust in the future here will be dealing with planning and design strategy, development strategy, and also maintenance across the estate. And we have 52 of those.
The 37 years of dedication to humanitarian causes by Lions Club East will continue as their future vision lies in the creation of a better world. This was part of the vision of President expressed during a dinner over the weekend.
Service to the less fortunate has been on the front burner for the Lions Club of Barbados East for the last 37 years and will continue. Two-time President Terence Innes says the 2025 motto is Service with a Smile.
Bringing hope to those in need and making a lasting impact. And we do it all with a smile, because true service is given from the heart with warmth, kindness, and compassion. You agree? Right. Over the past 37 years, our club has been a beacon of service, demonstrating unwavering dedication to humanitarian efforts, community development, and the empowerment of those less fortunate.
Lion Innes says they're looking to the future with warmth, kindness, and compassion, and has thanked the membership for having brought the club thus far. Reverend Gillian Crawford believes a smile is about going the extra mile and suggests even if not seen, one's voice reflects warmth and comfort to interact.
A smile, my friends in Christ, sets that attitude. Employees that smile at customers say, and I quote, "I am ready to help to the best of my ability," end of quote. Even in the most difficult service situations, a smile triumphs. In fact, a smile itself, even when forced, changes attitudes, moods, tones, and it warms up the setting. So there's the old adage saying, and I quote, "Grin and beer," end of quote. So I'll change it, and I'll say to you tonight, quote, "Smile and beer," end of quote. Serving with a smile sends persons away happy rather than sad.
Wendy Burke, CBC News.
It will be Lodge School and Queen's College to battle on the court today for the title of the NSC Girls School League Basketball Championships. Led by McKenna Clark on 12 points, Lodge steamrolled Spring Memorial 23-7 in the semi-final, while Queen's College got by the St. George Secondary 27-18. Anne-Marie Burke looks at the QC win.
Up for grabs the place in the final, and the girls from Queen's College in the red hosted the St. George girls on their home court. Both teams started hot, and watch as Asima Allen steals and goes on the break and delivers the game's first basket. Queen's College on the counter-attack. Adria Pilgrim goes for the long-range shot, but as she misses, Solange Holford is there to mop it up. Though the baskets were far and in between, once Allen got the ball for her St. George side, she would deliver. But the girls from QC held a slight edge, and with all hands on deck, led 7-5 at the end of the first quarter. Started the second behind, the girls from Salters set to close that 2-point gap, and their point girl Allen again comes good. But QC responded immediately. Holford with a nice jump shot. The ball is heading back down court, or not, as Allen steals, shakes the defense, and puts the money in the bank. It's basket for basket at this stage. But the Husbands girls found a way to still hold an edge, and this is just why. Pulling the trigger for a big one is Amara Ramsey as they went into the half up 14-9. And the next two quarters, they extended the lead. Holford, who had a joint game-high 13 with Allen, led the charge. As the script was pretty much written, QC inching their way to the finals. Holford again nicely put away. Queen's College went on to win 27-18 to set a date with the girls from the Lodge School. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
And that's our news until now. We'll have more news coming up at 12 noon right here on CBC TV8. Morning Barbados comes back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
11 and a half minutes after 7 o'clock, having a good time with the boys here on the set. With me is Cornelius Bartlett, of course, you know, from Family Fest, and Wayne Yearwood, who's a sidekick, so to speak. Just kidding, just kidding you. But we're talking about, you know, they want to answer the question, what would you do, Cornelius, if you woke up seriously and you found a centipede lying on your chest fast asleep? What would you do?
First of all, I would flick it off. I would get a pillowcase and I would grab it with the pillowcase and I would put it outside. I know a lot of Bajans, people look at me really strange when I say that I don't kill centipedes. I used to. Mm-hmm. But when I realized the benefit of centipedes to the environment or food supply, and not only that, I mean, I don't believe in killing things unless you're going to be using it for food. Mm-hmm. Outside of flies and cockroaches and stuff like that, I don't believe in killing creatures.
You will take the time, knock it off, look for a pillowcase.
Pull off pillowcase, because pillowcase is always there.
I am not reaching for a pillowcase because my first thing is that he has to go.
Yeah.
So are you going to take all of that time? You know, by the time you get around to all of that, he's gone.
No, but that happens in seconds.
I know, he too.
Listen, I had one in the kitchen the other night, crawl over my feet. And because I guess they love me, did not sting, right? And I got a dish rag, held it, opened my door, and put it outside on the grass.
And you don't mind him coming back inside?
But centipedes do not come in intentionally.
Answer the question. You
wander.
don't mind him coming back inside?
But I don't think of it like that, honestly. Okay. Because one time, honestly, I used to kill centipedes. I'd be driving 2 o'clock in the morning, and if I see one slithering across the road, I pull up my handbrakes, stop the car, pull up handbrakes, and go and kill it. 2 o'clock in the morning. That is how paranoid I was. But then I became wiser, and I understood life a lot better, and I started to appreciate nature and all that. Well, so I do not kill centipedes.
Well, I'm still unwise. I'm still unwise.
I understand.
Yeah, man. What about you, Wayne?
Dead. I'm sorry. I know all the eco thing and all of that. But let me tell you something. I just killed one just a few days ago.
Really?
Yeah. My wife and I was just sitting down watching some television. She said, I went in the bedroom and I heard her screaming out. And when I came out, she said, "It's in there." I said, "What?" When I went and I see it is dead. Dead.
Had to go.
Dead.
There's no place for him here.
Had to go.
Do you ever stop for a moment and think, but given the size of it, maybe there are others as a family?
Yes.
And?
Especially when you see those small ones, you know that there are others around.
Yeah, and
they move very fast.
And what do you do?
I go and get the spray and spray everywhere that I can spray. Every corner.
I'm with you on that, Wayne. Don't mind Cornelius. I am with you on that.
I ain't taking no chances.
Outside, if you come inside there, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, definitely.
But think of this person. One day, right, we might wake up and find that centipedes become giants. And I'd probably want to feel that they will spare.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, I'm not waking up at that point to see that the giant centipede at all. Nah, but
take over the world.
You can have it. You can have that world with them. That's all right. Let's talk a little bit about Family Fest now, because it's coming up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So remind us again, because I know we teased earlier. Let's remind folks as to when Family Fest is and what it's about.
Okay, Family Fest, first of all, is an organization tasked with educating people, and every person is actually a member of a family, about how to improve family life. So just be clear, our mandate is education. We believe that people don't do better because they don't know better. Now, we want to be doing things all during the year, but so far from the COVID year 2020, we've been hosting a month of panel discussions. I remember during the COVID year, we actually had 29 discussions. Imagine having a discussion almost every day. Since that, it wasn't really practical. So we have 3 discussions over the last couple of years per week. And we divide the month of July, because our Family Fest month is in July, where we divide the month into 4 quadrants. First week, Men's Week, Women's Week, second week, third week, Children's Week, and the last week is Family Week. And what we try to do, where possible, is we try to tailor those discussions towards that member of the family. So the Men's Week's discussions would usually be about men's issues and men's angles. Women's Week, same thing, children, and then we look at the entire family. And what we do every year is we kick it off normally with a church service. Because we believe, I mean, you can dance around it all you want. There's someone that created all of this, and there's someone that ordered it. And the reason why our world and our lives are in turmoil is because we've moved away. Yes. We believe in our own education, our own ideologies. We believe in the ideologies of Satan, all kinds of things. But the truth of the matter is that this all started, I believe, and I am convicted about that, this all started with God. And in order to get it to work well, it must work according to God's says. If you bought a car, and whatever brand it is, would you look to somebody else, another brand, to tell you how to work your car? So if whatever vehicle you buy, you look at the manual for that vehicle in terms of the best way to maintain it and to service it. So the same way I see it with life. So apart from the month of July, we want to really be doing things every month. And we have our first panel discussion coming off on the 23rd of this month.
Okay.
And we're looking at something very interesting.
Really?
Maybe I should wait for you to ask. I don't know if...
Well, I want to ask, what is it you're looking at coming up?
Okay. So we're looking at a very new topic and a very interesting area. We're looking at emotional intelligence in the family.
Emotional intelligence in the family. I don't want to just bandy words around, because that's what we tend to do, emotional intelligence. But then folks ask, what's that? And what are you trying to achieve when you do this?
Okay, remember, people don't know better because people don't do better because they don't know better. And I discovered this area a couple of years ago. I actually did a course in emotional intelligence, and I would say that it was one of the life changers for me, one of them, right? The biggest one was meeting Christ, but emotional intelligence, and I even preached a sermon on it directly after. A lot of what we see happening in families, from infidelity to domestic violence to crime and violence and all these things, they are very psychological based. And I think that a lot of people are unhappy in their marriages, and children are very unhappy in terms of their homes and so on. And it doesn't happen on the symptomatic level. In other words, domestic violence is not about domestic violence a lot of times. It's about the emotions and self-esteem and the psyche and the value systems of someone. So the reason why we're not seeing better results, I believe, in society, you know, I'm not published or anything, is because we are constantly, and I'm going to say this slowly, we are constantly as a society, if you look at law enforcement, you look at everything around us, we are constantly trying to solve symptoms. And you will never solve a problem by solving the symptom. You have to go to the root, Pearson,
That's right.
of the problem to solve it. So imagine a man who, let's say, beats his wife, and that man came into, provided he has the desire to change, because some people don't have the desire to change. So it starts with you, the individual. And that man is now taught and learns about his childhood traumas, about his value system, and that can be reformed. You know, when that reforms, you know, that man no longer sees his wife as an object to reign over in terms of violence. Because I am really committed to the belief that I don't think that the majority of people are bad. I know some people are cynical about human beings. I believe that ultimately, in the deepest part of human beings are good, but human beings were contaminated, perverted with things that happen along the way, abusive and traumatic childhoods, corruption in terms of belief systems and so on. So, I mean, like you have, like, for example, you had the shop life where a man would tell another man, man, your wife give you talk, man, go home and get you a coffee in your face.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
the ignorance. And again, that's why I'm proud to be associated with Family Fest, that we are interested in educating for betterment. You know, as opposed to giving people away, man, go and get the woman a slap on she head, man, cut the children behind, man. Because I'm also an advocate against corporal punishment for children. And we could do a 2-hour program. I could tell you why it is nonsense.
So you're saying in the family, if we are more aware of why we feel the way we feel and why we choose certain reactions, then we can turn this around.
That's right.
And that's what this on the 23rd seeks to be able to do, to open up our awareness of why we respond in the way that we do. And hopefully we can make that a very positive response as opposed to a negative response. And all the while, Wayne, I kept hearing saying, yes, all the while, but you live in the reality too. You have a wife, children?
Yes, I do.
So talk to me about how you see your emotional intelligence affecting positive changes in your family.
I would say that,
and I hope the wife will come
first of all, I've made a serious declaration to God some years ago that I would not only commit myself to service to Him, but the family dynamic and what I'm seeing happening in families, especially as it relates to the head of the home, the priest of the home, the male, men are in crisis. And though men sometimes may put their head on the rug and try to think that they can shrug it away, it doesn't work that way. But I find that from the time I got more involved in the things of God and His Word, it developed my thinking to a place where now there are certain family dynamics that come easy. All of my children are adults. And so conversations with them now come from a place where it's not about trying to chastise them, but it's about sharing information and ideas and helping them to understand when they have a solution, a problem, that there's always a solution to it. And I can sit down and converse with any of my children anytime. And they come to me. This is something that you need in families. Families have situations where men don't understand how to be a man, and they struggle with that. They don't understand how to be a husband, and they struggle with that. They don't understand how to parent. And these are things that Family Fest Barbados has invested in educating the family and educating men and how to understand those family dynamics. And I want to dare say that since I have been a part of Family Fest, that too has impacted my life. And we in Family Fest have become a family as well.
Cornelius, a lot of it is generational. A lot of this is learnt behavior.
Yes.
And you're trying to unlearn that behavior by replacing it with a new way of doing what we do. So on the 23rd, talk me through in a practical way what one can expect on the 23rd.
Well, I'll tell you on the 23rd what one can expect. There's a name that a lot of people in Barbados have become known and familiar with in terms of emotional intelligence. We have the chairman and founder of EQ Barbados, Tony Olton. I know that name. A lot of people would know that name. Tony is, I believe, sent by God. I believe he has done phenomenal work in that area. I was actually on his course many years ago. Tony is a good friend. And
he's a change maker.
Oh, yeah. And Tony has his team, because EQ Barbados is a team of them, but he's going to be one of the presenters. And I believe in what Tony does, for example. And I believe that Family Fest, as an organization, I see us as the wheel in the middle of the wheel. So we're going to have Fabian Sargent as well.
Yes.
So well-known social worker. So I mean, I would say, I don't want to use this term, but I'm going to use it. We have a star-studded group of panelists on the 23rd. And we have a really great moderator coming on as well. So it's going to be, maybe one of these times we can get you, Pearson, to even do some moderation. Because and on that note, I want to also pause now and say this, that we are looking for persons like yourself, Pearson, who are gifted in particular ways, to come and join the Family Fest work. we want people to come and invest, not just money. And I don't want to say not just money. Money is very important because a lot of times when you go to do these ventures, even though they're community-based, there are people who will charge you.
Yes.
And I want to tip my hat to Golden Sands. When we started this work back in 2020, I want to shout out Angus, who was the manager of the restaurant.
Yes.
Golden Sands said, I remember going to have a meeting with Golden Sands, and I wasn't sure what the response was going to be. I wasn't sure how much they were going to charge. Angus said to me, you can have the place for free. Just come and meet, because we wanted a meeting place. And Golden Sands gave us, I tip my hat off to Golden Sands who gave us that start. And I want others who are listening now to recognize that we need your assistance in getting the word out there. It doesn't make any sense having this great meal called Family Fest and people don't know about the restaurant or the hospital called Family Fest. We are really in the middle of the wheel. We interface with social workers, we interface with psychologists, therapists, counselors, and over the years we've had people calling us after some of our discussions, and we were able to usher them off in the right direction to get help. So we need to have, and I say that, I said it last time I was here, that if, let's say 50,000 people in Barbados went into their bank account and do an automatic transfer for $1 per month, 50,000, we have a population of 300,000. Some are children. So let's say 50,000 adults who are working were to go into their online banking portal and do an automatic transfer of $1 per month to Family Fest. We could make $50,000 a month. Imagine the amount of work we could do in terms of education, the amount of material we can print and give out in supermarkets, the amount of advertising we could do on social media to bring persons who are struggling in their family lives to the online portal, the amount of conferences and seminars we could do, the amount of experts we can bring in from overseas who are doing research in areas to help families.
Yeah. You don't have to be a big donor, in other words. It's every little contribution goes a very long way. So remind us of those means by which we can share. The information is scrolled on your screen, folks, as well. But just talk it up so that people understand how they can make their very small donations and how that adds.
Yes, I'm going to make it really easy. Right now, because of COVID and the way how our banking portals have changed at all the banks, you can actually go and you can automate an automatic transfer. So if you don't try to put it on your memory, because like me, I don't try to remember many things. I have a now policy. I do it now. So if I hear that somebody is, for example, in need, I don't say, well, I'm going to donate next week. I go the same thing on the portal and I do a transfer immediately. And I would want to suggest to those of you who believe that what we're doing makes a difference, and I know there are people out there I can call names who support us every year. They believe it. They say to me, Cornelius, I believe in what you guys are doing. But what you can do, if you believe in what we're doing and you want to see a change, you want to grow up, you want to see a Barbados that has less crime and violence, less divorce rates, less suicide attempts and suicides, and you believe in that, and you believe in what we're doing, you want to contribute, I would challenge you to go to your bank account and do an automatic transfer. The bank account is with CBC Broad Street. The name of the account is Family Fest Barbados. The account number is 100-123-2676. That's 100-123-2676. And you can also communicate with us on social media as well. And if you want to, for example, give us a call, you can also call us we have a cell number that we have in my office, in my business, and I've decided to give Family Fest a part of my business car bar. So you can call this cell number 832-5241. So you can go to social media, Facebook, Instagram, Family Fest Barbados. I'm mixing up my hats.
I got you.
I mix my hats. Family Fest Barbados on any of the social media platforms, and that is Facebook or Instagram. And we're also on YouTube. We started transmitting via YouTube last year. But if you want to communicate with us, send us a message, you can go there, or you can send us an email at info@familyfestbarbados.org. That's info@familyfestbarbados.org.
Okay. This is great. But on the 23rd, where is the occasion for us to come and meet to look at emotional intelligence in the family? Where is that happening?
That's going to happen on both Facebook and YouTube.
So it's online?
Yes. So what we're doing, what we've done is we've incorporated, for years we were on YouTube, on Facebook, but we have decided to also include the YouTube platform, which stores very well and people interact with YouTube a lot easier. So we decided, you know what, why not include YouTube? So YouTube or Facebook, but we're going to be doing advertising. So we're going to advertise it. That's why we need your funds coming in, because advertising for social media is very expensive. You know, if you don't advertise, you don't get the views. You know, and we don't just want to do it just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
We want to do it that people can benefit.
Yeah, to make an impact.
Yeah.
And indeed, so it's online on YouTube and on Facebook on the 23rd of February.
Sunday.
And it's on Sunday the 23rd.
Yeah.
And it starts at what time?
We're looking at a 5:30 start, but that we'll advertise specific, because what we do is we like to look at the matrices and see what they
Yes.
say about viewership. So it will be somewhere in that region, 5:30, that kind of region, maybe 6 o'clock, but we're going to firm that up with the technical team, because we have social media specialists and that kind of thing around the Family Fest.
And this is not just for women and children, this is also for men. Because often, as you mentioned earlier, Cornelius, the men seem to be the one who are more struggling with managing their emotions when situations flare up. And situations will occur. Don't think it's going to be a perfect marriage at all. It isn't.
No.
Relationships are always challenged by that. And so in this quest to be able to change how I react emotionally, you have guest speakers and instructors. I mean, the change maker himself, Olton, is going to be there. So he will give practical real life examples of how one can respond in situations. I think lived examples help a lot, and to be able to practice it while there makes a world of a difference for me to inculcate it and to absorb it. And so I'm hoping that on the 23rd that happens as well, where I can have a scenario and I role play. And then you can critique and say to me, Pearson, you know, you may have missed a couple of things. Say, you did this well, you did that, and these are the things you need to work on. So I'm hopeful that out of all of this, that families become stronger, men become better at being men and understanding their role within the grand scheme of everything. You're not the big hammer. You're not the big stick. You're also a nurturer. And part of it is to be able to understand how that softer side of men can help to advance the family.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, Pearson, you know, and I'm going to say this very slowly. Men are going to be the game changer and are the game changers in families. When men are functioning in families and men become stronger, families become stronger. You know, there are lots of bad information. There's a lot of bad information out there about, you know, like for example, there are people who are choosing divorce, for example. Divorce is always the worst option. And there are people who say, but you know, the children, they will adopt, you know, like they'll recover, you know. And I don't understand why that kind of language continues when you can look and see the amount of damaged children that become damaged adults and that they go on and damage other people. Because what is happening is that you are having people that are getting married every week. Every week people are getting married. And imagine you have two trauma-loaded individuals who've not come to terms with the reality of who they are as a human being, coming together to damage each other. That's not the intention, but it happens because after the honeymooning period, where you take off all the veneer and the mask, and the real essence of domestic life and family life takes over. If you are not grounded and conscious of who you are as a human being, then you are asking for disaster. And the disaster we see in divorce rates increasing. Right? Now, since women, for example, are in the workforce, you see that back in the day, women never filed for divorce because, I mean, there were several reasons. One of it was practical. They depended on the maintenance and support of the man financially. But now you have women in the workforce and you have a whole new set of thinking. You have the feminist movement who is pushing a lot of nonsense as well. And they will say that without any fear or apology. The whole idea is that what all of the agencies should be doing is pushing togetherness, pushing understanding each other better. Like, I'm never one that will support men against women because I'm a man.
Right.
I support family. I support men. I support women. I support children. And I can sit down in any forum about women and I can talk for women like if I'm a woman. I can sit down in any forum with children and I can talk like if I'm a child, because I support everyone once it is right, once it is sound, once it brings back families together.
And we're not talking, Wayne, here about, you know, men are the blame. You can't take all the blame. But men have to also see their responsibility. And how do you, Wayne, since you're also living the example, how do you deal with a situation where it feels as though there is no real happy ending, but you're asking me to be emotionally strong and recognize that I need to stay for the family?
That is a very difficult decision for most people, but I'll share something with you now. I won't go too deep, but just yesterday I met a gentleman, and his family, though he's not married, he said something to me, and I found it very interesting. And one of the things he shared was that she said, you know, if anything ever happens between us, I don't want you to leave, because we have a young child, and we need to be together for the stability of our home and that child. And I shared with him that, you know, you should marry her. You know, she's a special woman. They're not very much women when they hit that peak, and when a woman become angry with you, and it's at that place where she can't take it anymore. She said, leave, go. I don't need you anymore, especially if she can sustain herself. But when you are in a place where there's that willingness to sacrifice, because the truth is, that is a sacrifice. And as we know, God sacrificed for us, and that was a ransom that was paid for the sins of the world. And this, if you can look at things beyond yourself and have that compassion and love to make that kind of commitment, that is love.
You heard that.
Yeah.
The man in that situation, I wonder if he heard what you heard. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're in it, I'm hearing noise. I'm hearing I need to flee.
Yeah.
You're hearing, but she's saying to you that I'm committed to you, that in spite of it all, we can work this through. Don't leave. I'm prepared to go for the long haul. He isn't hearing that.
Yeah.
He's hearing or seeing, I got to get out of this. So
Yeah.
how do you help a man like that become emotionally strong to say, step up of himself for just a moment, to really truly hear her amidst the noise in his own head?
Yeah. Well, what I'll say is that is why Family Fest is here. We are here, and we have the people who have the experience and the knowledge, who can share that knowledge with them and help to educate them along the line. It's not a one fit all, save all, but it is a continuance of educating persons and giving them the tools and the understanding of how to deal with the emotion and how to deal with what needs to be done on a daily basis, because it will take time.
Cornelius, you biting to jump in on this. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, my colleague here, he's uttering it spot on. I mean, I believe that you know, a lot of persons, and I want to say this very guardedly, there is so much corrupt thinking out there. Sorry, I have to take off the gloves, right?
See.
There is so much corrupt, and I don't know which camera is pointing, but I really want people to listen to what I'm saying. Because right now you may be considering destroying your family. Because you're watching too much movies and soap operas. You're watching too much reality TV shows. And I would recommend something that a lot of people seem to be allergic to. Go into the Word of God. Start going to church. I'll tell you, right, there are a lot of flaws that you can find with church and church leaders and all that. But when you can get past those cosmetic flaws and you look at what the Bible as a book, and you look at what church presents every Sunday, every Wednesday, whenever they meet, it is phenomenal. And I'll tell you, you want to see your life start to improve. Stay off the television and the social media, digesting the garbage, because garbage in, garbage out. And I'm a very candid human being, and I know that a lot of people might be, you know, backpedaling, like, well, you know, why he had to come on TV, why he had to hit at my social media and my movies and my soap operas. It's a lot of garbage. If you look at what is being produced from, and you work in media, if you look at what is being produced and served, and people are addicted to it, I'm not surprised that families are being destroyed at the rate they're being destroyed. People will spend, you would do better, even if you don't want to go to a physical church, spend some time looking at some spiritual content on social media. Go on YouTube, right? And you will see that your life is going to start to make a change. It's like food. I mean, like, I'm health conscious, and the reason why at my age now, I have 2 grandsons, I don't look my age. I don't believe I look my age, because people are telling me I don't look my age. It's because I not only think about my spiritual health and my mental health, but I also deal with my physical health. I believe in total health. So if I used to be eating fast food 3 and 4 times a day and drinking 4 and 5 star drinks a day and eating a lot of bread and all these kind of things and pastries every minute, I would not look the way I look. And I'm not saying that as a means of bragging. I'm just saying that to say that the same way your physical health runs down, if you don't eat right, your mental health and your belief system and your value system will become corrupted if you continue to feed yourself on the garbage that is produced on screens nowadays, whether it's the movie industry, whether it's social media. You really need to feed yourself better. And that's why I feel extremely passionate and I'm very proud to be associated with Family Fest. Because if you look back on Facebook and see what we've done over the years, we have served up gourmet meals in terms of panel discussions. And a lot of people would probably prefer to go and watch some garbage than to go and watch some content that would build them up. And I don't know that's why I believe that it got to be demonic, because why would you, it is almost like you have 2 options, go this way and stay safe on the road or go this way and fall in the well. You're choosing to go this way to fall in the well. It's madness, Pearson. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. And it has to be some spiritual force beyond our physical sight that is influencing people to destroy themselves every day by consuming content and believing garbage. Sorry, but I got to be candid. I'm believing in a lot of garbage. And that is why you see families are being destroyed. That's why you see children are feeling so hopeless and disconnected. That's why you see that crime rates. And by the way, and I was telling you this morning, I don't believe that people say the young people, listen, young people, that, you know, that's a lie. You know that 99% of our young people are excellent.
I know
They're
that.
struggling.
Yes.
A lot of them are struggling because, again, the parents aren't getting it together. But if you go into any school in Barbados, and I would challenge anybody who's listening to me, I say the young people in Barbados, go into any school in Barbados, because you start to see them from school. Who will be the troublemakers, who will be handcuffed by police later on. Go into any primary school, any secondary school, any neighborhood, anywhere in Barbados, and look and see who are the troublemakers. You're not even going to get 1%.
You're right. And
It's a small minority, and you know what I want to do? And I want to send this challenge out to the press. Stop highlighting the negativity of these small microcosm of young people who are doing nonsense in this country. Stop putting it on the front page. I'm challenging you. Stop putting it on the headline on CBC News and make it a smaller miniature article. But I want to see you elevate the great young people in this country that are doing great things. There's a lot of, you know, I stopped watching, I admit this to the public, you know, I stopped watching TV about 7 years now, and I listen to news selectively because I have made a decision that I am not going to allow myself to be abused by information going into these things, these gates called ears. Or my eyes to be abused by watching things I don't want to watch. Yeah, when they had the boy that got hit, the little boy that got hit with the vehicle, somebody called me and messaged me and said, I'm not going to say, I said, don't send me it. I don't want to see it. Because I try, Pearson, to filter what goes in these and these. Because I know that as much as I try to be strong, if I consume garbage, guess what will come out of me?
Garbage out.
Garbage will come out.
All right, so Family Fest is coming up, folks, but on the 23rd, there's going to be online on Facebook and on YouTube an opportunity for you to learn how to be emotionally intelligent in the family. And that's very important for every member of the family to be a part of that session as well, because we're all parts of a family. It doesn't just lie on the parents to know. I think every single soul within that household needs to be engaged in this, and so we're all working together as a collective to change the family dynamic from a negative to a positive one, and that's what Family Fest seeks to do year in, year out. And so on the 23rd, it's online, Barbados Family Fest on
Family
Facebook.
Fest Barbados. Family Fest Barbados.
Turn it around. Family Fest Barbados, turn it round, Family Fest Barbados on YouTube and on Facebook. And of course, once again, you can lend your donations by sending it straight away right now from your bank to CIBC. Again, remind us, Cornelius, the numbers?
Yes.
100.
Right, let me.
1001 26 23 76.
There you go, my brother.
No, 100 1232676. I lost it for a moment there. So it's Family Fest Barbados, and I would recommend that you automate it so that you don't have to remember to come every month. Automate $1, automate $5, automate $10, whatever it is, it will help, because we really want to get out there, and we want to be in supermarkets, we want to be in workplaces, we want to be in community centers, we want to do symposiums and seminars, and then put them on social media that you can go and view. It's all about you. It's not about us, it's about you.
On that note, thank you. He said it well. It's all about you. Morning Barbados comes right back after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, 13 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. It's all about you, folks. It's all about you telling me what would you do if you woke up and found sleeping on your chest a centipede. What would you do? Maybe all of your reactions are similar. I don't know, but your reaction might very be vastly different from one we would anticipate. So what would you do? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me now and let me know. What would you do if you woke up and found sleeping on your chest a centipede? Serious as a judge. What would you do? I know what you would do if it happened to a baby. If you woke up, oh my word, I don't even want to put it in the atmosphere. I don't even want to put it in the atmosphere. But I know you would freak out if it was lying there next to your little baby. So, but what would you do if you woke up and found it lying on your chest asleep? What would you do? The centipede. 228-5562 or 228-5563. You call me and you let me know, and I'll be happy to hear from you. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do? Would you just brush it off and leave it there and go back to sleep? Would you brush it off, rip off everything and go? Would you, like Cornelius, brush it off, take a pillowcase, pick it up and throw it outside? Would you get up and crush it to pulp? If you had to do so, what would you do? What is your reaction? What would you do? Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good. What's your first name?
Kevin.
Hey, Kev, what would you do now if you woke up and found that sleeping centipede on your chest?
I would wake up, I would kill it.
You would kill it?
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. Fair enough. I think that's what a lot of people will do because that cannot survive that day with you in the house, right? Thank you, Kevin. Have a good day. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do if you woke up and found a centipede asleep on your chest? Of all places, on your chest? Good morning. Hello.
Morning, Pearson.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. What would you do?
Well, if I woke up and I found that, I would bring the community together with my scream.
In other words,
how you have Q in the community?
Yes, yes.
I will have a gathering of people around me, so they'll be screaming.
In other words, you're going to shout down the place.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Seriously?
I don't like centipedes.
I know, but okay, so you just open your eyes and lo and behold, it's on your chest. What's the first thing you will do? Flick it off?
No,
or scream.
I know me. I know me.
You're going to scream and it's going to be startled, and what then will it do? It will run, it will crawl.
More than likely, it might sting me because I will startle that too.
Right, and then you scream and everybody comes, and then what happens?
And then it will be 511.
You're ready to skin your teeth. Thank you. Here for your call. Have a good day.
All right, have a good day.
Likewise. Thanks a lot. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do? She would bring, like Q in the community, she would bring her community together with a scream. Everyone would try to figure out why is she out there screaming so hard? What's going on? And everyone appears to help her solve the mystery of the centipede. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Someone asked me in my ear, anyway, come back to that in a moment. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Who's calling?
This is Mommy Olden.
Hi, Mommy Olden. Good to hear you.
Nice saying I watch you every morning.
Thank you so much indeed. Now I want to know from you.
You see that centipede thing?
Uh-huh.
The look of that alone killed me instantly. I am so frightened for a centipede. I just like you. I would like to see it first.
Got to go.
Before it see me.
That's right. I'm fortunate not what again that happens to me.
I don't like them.
Don't like him at all. Not at all.
Right.
Not with me. We cannot cohabitate in the same space. It won't happen.
No.
Nope. But you know, sometimes, and there's a saying that they don't bite babies. Is that true? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
You don't know?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I just try to keep them from around me. Up to yesterday, I buy 7s to sprinkle all around my house to keep out those varmints.
But what if you open the wardrobe and lo and behold on the floor?
Oh, Lord have mercy, don't say that. I die instantly.
Sorry. You know you should shake your clothes, right?
I am so scared of them.
You know you should shake your clothes.
I always do.
And what if one fell out?
I don't feel so.
All right, Mommy Olden.
As I tell you, I always keep 7s and sprinkle all around my house.
That is outside, but they may already be inside.
No. I make sure I look carefully on mornings when I wake up.
Fair enough.
I don't love them at all. I don't like them kind of things.
Can't coexist with me in a house. Can't happen.
I think I would tremble till I drop.
Thank you. Here. Have a good day, Mommy Olden there. 228-5562 or 228-5563. She sprinkles the house with 7 and hopes that keeps them at bay. But you know how it goes. These things escape us sometimes. And so if you should find one and it's in your house, sleeping on your chest of all the places in the earth, that's where it found itself to sleep. What would you do? That is today's question. I'd like to hear from you. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Estelita asked whether or not they bite babies. I don't know. I'm assuming they bite who they want to bite. I don't know. God forbid if they should bite the baby, because I can't imagine that the baby discovered, or you, the parent, discovered that the child is allergic to a centipede bite from that. Cancel that. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do if you wake up and found a centipede asleep on your chest? That is today's question for you to answer me. And you can also, remember, post your comment on our Facebook page as well and let me know. Now, today is what day? Tuesday. Oh, yes, it is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wellness Wednesday. Thursday is Q Day, and I'm looking forward to you being a part of the Q activity as well. But Thursday is also going to be a big day here with us on Morning Barbados. On Friday, we're going, well, Holton Festival is on. The Holton Festival is on. I'll tell you no more about that in just a moment because I want to hear from you. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What would you do if you woke up and found a centipede asleep on your chest? What would you do? Vereen says, I'll drop dead. Really, Vereen? For real? Just because you saw a centipede? When you could deal with that centipede, Vereen? Drop dead. That has to die, not me. 228-5562 or 228-5563. And I wonder if the reaction is the same across the world, if everyone reacts the same to that 100-foot thing called the centipede. And you know, we have this thing that says, don't call it, because if you call it, you will see it. And I have Peter in the studio with me. He's watching the floor every time, watching to wait to see if any would crawl through. But you know, that's what happens generally. If you call it, it comes. They have an ear for and a recognition of their word, their name, somehow or the other. So, but what would you do if you woke up one day and you found it fast asleep on your chest? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Like to hear from you, waiting to hear from you, want to hear from you. So call me and you let me know. There's some of you who live in areas that are prone to have it because you somehow your house is planted on a space that used to be a place like a plantation of sugarcane, and Like in St. Philip, I am telling you, they are almost everywhere. And maybe that's a standpipe story. Remember this evening at 7 o'clock at Spitestown Methodist Church, the standpipe stories told by you, about you, and about the people that you know and lived among. That's going to be at Spitestown Methodist Church this evening at 7 o'clock, all part of the activities for regathering of St. Peter. So we encourage you to be a part of that activity and be in the space to tell your story as well. They're collating the stories to be captured in the book, and we can't wait to tell you a little bit more about that. So, with just 5 minutes to go, I'm instructed we should take a break. We're right back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Straight to the phone I go, 228-5562 or 63. Morning, hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
I'm okay. I am okay for this morning.
Good man. What's your first name?
John.
John from?
St. John.
John from St. John. All right, John from St. John, tell me, what would you do if you woke up and found that centipede sleeping on your chest?
First thing I would do is try to get up as quiet as possible. I would capture it. I would make some seasoning and I will fry it with some plantain.
You would eat a centipede?
Of course, they're a delicacy. The Chinese eat them.
That's them, not me. You seriously, John? You would eat a centipede?
I would eat it. It's a delicacy.
Have you eaten it before?
Not before, but he's on
so
me.
Why would you choose now to start to do that?
Because he's on me.
Yes, so he becomes food.
He wants to eat me, so I eat him first.
He becomes food. I love it, John. So you will calmly do all of that?
Yes, I would.
They don't scare you, really?
They do, but in a situation like that, you have the upper hand.
True, but I don't know. I mean, when you see this thing, you're a real calm man. Is that your nature?
Yes.
Okay, that explains it then. That explains it, because I'm serious. That is not even going to see the frying pan. That won't even see the frying pan. That is not going to see outside at all again. That gone. That is gone to the great beyond. Not on me.
You're going to get some season and some flour, such like, and dip them in the flour.
Wait, I tell you.
Fry them with some plantain.
You have a meal plan already worked up for your centipede. So, John, when you try it, right, you must call us back and let us know how it went.
I will.
Where you deep fried it in this oil with your plantains, and you set it to the side, and you just have a good meal. And what will you drink it down with?
Some Moby.
Some Moby. You're a good Bajan boy. You're a good Bajan boy. Well, John, thanks for your call, all right?
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Likewise to you indeed. That's it for today, everybody. You have been fantastic. I keep telling you, tell others about this. Share the show. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Our little crew says thank you. Until tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.